What if I told you there were 3 things about the Nintendo Switch 2 that Nintendo did not put into the spotlight, but that you definitely need to know? From how you buy games, to the way you play them, to which controllers might actually work. It's a little bit strange. But today, we're going to break down 3 secrets that Nintendo really isn't talking about with the Switch 2, and why they might be a bigger deal than how they seem on paper. Let's dive in. Nintendo is shaking things up with the Switch 2 by introducing Game Key cards, a new hybrid between physical and digital game formats. Here's how they work. There's no game data on board. Unlike traditional cartridges, these cards obviously don't contain the game data themselves. Instead, they're a digital key code that can unlock the download version of a game on your system. Well, that part isn't new, of course. Once downloaded, the game isn't tied to your Nintendo account like previous downloads. In other words, it is not account bound. You are able to lend, borrow, or even resell the game keycard, much like you would with a physical game cartridge. When someone else takes over the keycard, the game you purchased will be removed from your account and added to the new owner. This approach helps address the growing concern of game prices, as Nintendo already announced that most digital versions of games will be cheaper than their physical counterparts, and also avoid potential impending tariffs since they are digital goods. By using game keycards, Nintendo also continues to allow retailers to sell their games, though digital now, in a physical version appropriate for store shelves. And if you'd rather have the full collector physical experience, you'll still be allowed to purchase an entire normal physical game. While this system offers flexibility and maintains the resale value of physical media, it also raises questions about long-term game preservation. Once servers go offline, re-downloading these games might become impossible. So, you could argue that the flexibility might be a good thing, but at the same time, Nintendo also might be doing this to get a bigger handle on the secondary market. And on top of that too, you notice that for a while, it might still be active, to pre-order the Switch 2, you have to basically use and sign in with your Nintendo Switch Online account, with your Nintendo account, to prove that you were quote-unquote a gamer and not just a scalper. Secret number 2 is that the Joy-Con is still susceptible to Joy-Con drift. Do you remember the notorious stick drift issues with the original Joy-Cons? A lot of people hoped the Joy-Con 2s would eliminate that effect and would adopt Hall effect sensors, which use magnets to eliminate physical contact and wear, effectively preventing drift. Interestingly, fob controllers for competitive Melee, like the one I have right here, have already implemented Hall effect sensors, which in part is how these controllers offer precise control inputs. I can basically do muscle memory on this and not have to worry about the stick wearing down, and it does the exact same thing every single time, which if you're a competitive gamer is very, very good. If you integrate this technology into the Joy-Con 2, it can provide a similar level of reliability and performance for all Switch 2 users, but from what I understand, they did not incorporate Hall effect sensors from what we can see, and I do feel this is a pretty missed opportunity because, like, if you're a company like Nintendo and you have people that you specifically hire to make sure you get the biggest gripes out of the way. Number one gripe with Joy-Cons for everyone, apart from the size, they made it bigger, is of course Joy-Con stick drift. And if it happens again on this console, I mean, that's just, I don't know, this could have been easily avoidable, and with the price tag they already have on the console, they could have, I think, easily implemented it or figured out a way to implement it even in that small space. Before we get to the final secret, here is an interesting tidbit. We know the Switch 2 has the optional camera accessory, some of course with that funny piranha plant, but not for the reasons you might think. Rumors are actually suggesting that the camera can be used for augmented reality features or even eye tracking capabilities in certain games, potentially offering more immersive gameplay experiences. However, that of course means that Nintendo at all endpoints can see where my eyes are tracking. But, you know, for certain games, I could see it being kind of fun. I could see it being a thing where, you know, they want to put the element of surprise into a certain game. If you're looking in one area, they can sneak in another boss or enemy from somewhere else. Maybe in a Mario Party game or a WarioWare type title, where sort of you have to be, I know, aware and cognizant of every element on the screen at once. It might be a cool thing too, and honestly, I think you can do this even with the most simple of cameras, but the fact that you can also plug in your own USB camera, like a higher one from Logitech or the company that you like, the fact that you can use those, I think will probably enhance the gamer chat experience. And if the augmented reality / eye tracking capability is in these games, you might want to use a camera that has a little bit of definition to fully get yourself into that experience. Secret number 3, GameCube controller compatibility. Attention Smash players, this one is for you. Nintendo has announced a new GameCube controller for the Switch 2, designed specifically for the upcoming GameCube app. but official statements indicate that this controller is only compatible with the GameCube app, suggesting it might not even work with other titles, including the next anticipated Smash Bros. Installment, or even Smash Ultimate on the console with backwards compatibility. However, if we do look at past patterns, the previous retro controllers, like the classic controller for the Switch, the NES one, the SNES one, the N64, initially marketed for their respective acts, were still functional across various Switch titles. So you should be able to use that fancy new GameCube controller on your other games, and honestly, it will make a lot of sense to be able to use this. The controller has even more buttons than before. It's the latest iteration of the GameCube controller design. Nintendo really hit on the head during the 2001 release of the GameCube, and honestly, they nailed it. It was just a really good controller. It fits, it's like almost a perfect size and fits in many people's hands. It's ergonomic, I feel, unless you're, being very technical in Melee. That it's not too ergonomic, but for the most part, for most games that you play, it does feel good in the hands. In terms of technical possibilities though, if a new game controller connects via USB-C or Bluetooth, there is a chance it could be recognized as a generic input device, potentially allowing compatibility with other games on the Switch 2, or potentially even your wide array of PC games offering a native USB GameCube controller without the need for an external adapter, which a lot of people, obviously, we use like, they released this GameCube control adapter when the Wii U came out, and of course you can use it from the Switch 2. And a lot of people figured out that with a simple download of a program, you can use this as a driver, and you can actually use your GameCube controllers for a variety of PC games. I use mine for playing Rivals of Aether 2 all the time. At the same time though, if this controller they're coming out with has native USB-C, you might not even need that. It might just be a plug-in and play experience, and you can even play your whole Switch Steam library with a game controller, which to me would be a pretty cool thing, and a thing that I would be honestly surprised that Nintendo did. That said, Nintendo might impose firmware restrictions to limit its use outside the GameCube app. This move could be aimed at encouraging players to adopt newer controllers or to maintain a specific user experience across all the games. If you're a Smash player and you're trying to figure out what controller to use, I have one controller for Melee, one controller for Ultimate. Having this controller right here, I feel depending on what there's various things in controllers that are important for Melee, like snapback, cardinals, calibration. A lot of these things do matter, but who knows? Maybe Nintendo really hit it out of the park with this newly designed GameCube controller, and maybe it's one that could be used universally for both games. I'm definitely going to buy one and try it out, just because obviously I'm the person who plays Melee on his computer all the time, goes tournaments all the time, and it might be good to have that extra option there as a backup, or even for my regular play, as I would see. But I doubt it's going to be as good as a fob, especially, let's be honest here, if the Joy-Con 2s don't have magnetic Hall effect sensors, I doubt the GameCube controller can have that either. Anyways, to recap, Nintendo is introducing a new way to purchase and share games. They're sticking to old habits with controller technology, and they're setting boundaries on how we can use classic peripherals. So guys, let me know which one of these secrets surprised you the most. Do you see these changes as a step forward or backward in terms of Nintendo's infrastructure? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button, and I will keep you updated as much as I can on all things Nintendo in this new Switch 2 cycle. And now, let's hope for a future where our favorite controllers work where we want them to. Roll the outro. I'll see you guys later.